Hey everybody, my name is Angie Morenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's the Ustawi segment and we are having a conversation on getting unstuck. This is where we talk to the team that has been putting together. Actually, there's the incoming team and the outgoing team and the incoming team who manage and plan and execute this amazing event called the Unstuck Annual Conference. So this is 2022 version. The title is Accessing the Future and it's Equipped for Impact. So we had a conversation last week with Feni and with Jackie. So today I'm having a conversation with Dorcas and Sheila. They're both not new to you, but just in case, karibuni sana. Please introduce yourselves to my guests and then we can kick it off.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Apostle Angie, for having us on the panel today. My name is Dorcas Karanja and I'm a certified professional coach.
Thank you so much, Apostle Angie. And hello, viewers. My name is Sheila. I'm a healthcare consultant and a project management consultant.
Excellent. So now I just feel like jumping into it. First of all, Dorcas, you're so amazing because Sheila was talking about getting out of the box. So maybe let her talk about that. Then you'll tell me, because that's good. You always remember all the different themes, the unstuck journey and every theme that we've had. So Sheila, you were talking about when you listened to Dr. Wale Akiemi, you had a thought about the youth and getting out of the box.
Yeah. Thank you for that. The premise of this conference is Equipped for Impact. And my thought coming into this was, what does that mean for the African youth? What does that mean for the young people who are in business, who are the new graduates coming into the marketplace? What does that look like for them? And so when I heard Dr. Wale talking and he referenced getting out of the box, thinking, removing logic and having leaders that we can emulate who are not confined to the box of logic, that was an aha moment for me. And it really spoke to what would that mean to get these young minds, these innovative minds, to now actually do what they were meant to do. Because I think the scripture in Ephesians 2:10 says that we have been created for a purpose, to accomplish a predestined path. We're supposed to walk on that path. So for me, it was a vision of seeing this youth being removed from this box and now have a clear canvas, a whole tabula rasa for them to paint and really put their creativity and innovation out there, because that is what will take them forward, not the box that we have drawn for them and told them you must color in the box, look a certain way and walk in a certain way. So, and then just having that understanding and imagining the possibility of what the future can look like for this youth. I think Africa being the next frontier, that conversation will really change lives. It will really, really change
And I
lives.
loved it. And he said something about logic. I even got stuck there. I was like, oh my goodness, it's too much logic. We have so much logic in everything that we do. And especially in an African context, and even if we think about Kenya, everything is logical. Our education, the way we do, how we move, it's all very logical. But when we look at what the world is doing, because as I did my research on accessing the future and how the world is going to access the future, there's no logic. Some of the ideas are completely crazy. They're completely out of the box, but they've been executed, they've been done. You can't actually look at an idea and say this is crazy anymore. It can actually become a reality. And then Dorcas, you alluded to our first Unstuck, oh my goodness, conference. I know it was in 2013.
It was in 2013.
Was get out of the box. So just take us on the journey of all the themes that we've had.
And you know, when I think about it, we're talking about accessing the future. And when I look back at the Unstuck themes, we've actually laid a foundation.
Wow.
And I feel like even as we access the future, we need to recognize that we've laid a foundation. And even for the young people, even though they may feel like they've not really laid a foundation per se, but someone has laid the foundation they need to build the future. And so the themes have been building up to this moment. The first one was Get Out of the Box, It's Time for Africa. That was 2013.
There was not even a single piece of decor in the room.
None.
We just had chairs the way they were. It actually shocks me, but it's good. The Bible says, do not despise the day of humble beginnings.
But for me, it was an amazing, when I remember that conference, I actually just remember the conference itself, not even, because it was a real moment of getting unstuck, getting out of the box. You know, like, don't think within the box. I even remember you said, we need to remove God out of the box, that we put God in the box, and he wants to move out of that box that we put in.
Yeah, and that was me, that's my purpose. My purpose was, it's been evolving, but God said, go and get me out of that box. They have put me in a box, and move the box, flatten the box, and let me get out. And that's what God is like. And that's why even the logic conversation.
Yeah.
Because when we're Christians now, the logic conversation is we have the Holy Spirit. Yeah. It cannot be logical. It's the supernatural, but it's the power to convert. We enter a realm where we can access the impossible, the illogical, if there's such a thing.
Yes.
Then we have to bring it down, which I think was what Dr. Wale was saying. Then we have to pull it down and execute it. Yes. We cannot just live here, up there, where they are. No, we're here on earth. So we have to be of good earthly good. Get out of the box. It's time for Africa. I feel like it was so prophetic, but
it was, because now we can see literally what that means.
Definitely.
Then the next one was one thing you lack.
That was amazing. And that was from the thing that, was it the scripture that Jesus or Jesus spoke to the person and he said, I've done everything. Yeah. And Jesus said, one thing you lack.
One thing you lack. What's the one thing you lack? And he told him, go back. I think he told him, go back and sell everything and come follow me. And that's the thing he lacked. For me, that speaks of trust. Sheila, I know you were there, but what does that say? When I say one thing I lack in terms of this unstucking process?
Yeah. I think for me, the entire journey since I came into this space in 2019 has been always identifying that one thing that you lack.
To move into the next
To move into the next. Because it's, I think with time you get to realize that it's not just one thing, but it's a series of things. But you can only identify the next one after you've resolved the previous one.
And that's an amazing part about getting unstuck. Yeah. It's like if I give you 10 things to do, you'll just collapse in a heap. You're like, I can't. Yeah. But if God says, do one thing, then that one thing gives you to the next thing. It's like cycling. I feel like cycling.
Yes.
It's like pushing the pedal. It's one pedal at a time.
And then momentum.
And it starts momentum. Yeah. What did one thing I lack? Because you must have been there.
I was there.
Spoke to you.
One thing you lack. It's that blind side. It's like you might think that you have everything you need to do what God is calling you to do, but then there's this one thing he's really keen on that might not be obvious. It's still moving out of logic, because then God is saying, we need to do this, but you're stuck in, this is what I know, this is who I am.
And do you think that God uses that one thing we lack sometimes now in the opposite of that to actually get us moving? Because you'll find people who are they're doing great things, they say they didn't have an education. Or when you talked about coloring outside the lines, when I think about all the people who have done great things, they colored outside the line. Yes. I was just thinking about even social media, I don't know what they call apps, those things, like Facebook, Instagram. It's connected me with the world. I'm watching somebody who's across the continent, and another continent doing something, and I can speak into it, I can see, I have information. Yeah. So sometimes from that I was saying one thing that we lack. I mean, even I can think of technology. At that time, we didn't have the technology that we have now. We didn't have access to it. So we're lacking something that needed to come into play so that the whole world could get into flow and to movement. Yeah. I don't even know whether it's even positive, but we need to get through them. But I mean, like COVID-19. COVID-19 has its positives, and it's completely, it was painful, it took people's lives, but there are things that came out that would never have happened. It was an acceleration. Yes. So it's like, I don't know whether God was saying one thing you lack is, and then nobody could move. You and your money could not take you anywhere. Yeah. No one was moving. Everybody was pause. Yeah. Stay where you are. Yeah. So I don't know.
Wow. Then the other thing was the theme for 2015 was letting go.
That was beautiful. I remember the poster. I loved the poster, but let me let you speak first about letting go.
The poster of the.
I loved it. Who has did that poster? It's been my most favorite Unstuck poster.
I think letting go is, for me, it's a lot of things, because and the premise is you have to let go of the past to embrace the future. Like you have to release what you're holding to receive what is coming. And it's mindset, it's letting go of what I know, letting go of socialization, letting go of who I believed I am until this point, and being willing to discover this person who needs to become a certain way. So I think it's very letting go has been a theme that has really recurred over the years, because it has been, forget the past, see the new thing that is coming. It has been a forward movement thing, and I think it's just been a period of really getting prepared for what's next over a period of time. So
Sheila, letting go.
So just listening to Dorcas describe it, it's a very relatable phrase, and it's something we get told often. Let go of that situation. Let go of that. But if we don't really fully embrace the act of letting go, then you cannot receive, as Dorcas has shared. And I think for me, what I have learned in this space and what I continue to learn through the unstacking process is there are certain beliefs, mindsets, there are certain actions you need to let go, habits that really drag you down. And there's this book that you've introduced to us, and we do it in groups, How Women Rise. And Marshall says, what got you here will not get you there. So you need to let go of that belief that what I did to get me to point B from A is what will get me to E. Yeah. So
and it's so powerful, because if you don't let go, then you'll stay stuck. And the whole premise of this conversation, the whole premise of having the annual Unstuck Conference is to remind ourselves, don't get stuck. Because if you don't let go, you will just stay there. And then the whole world has moved on, and you are there.
Absolutely.
It's even like businesses. I'm always amazed. I walk into a business these days, I'm older and wiser, so I don't say anything, that don't have technology. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Or like a supermarket that is not associated with an app that is delivering items. The first time I did it, I stood there in fascination, waiting for my products to arrive. I was like, wow, I was the last person. I used to say I'd never do online shopping because I want to feel the fabric. I want to see how it feels on my body. Now it is a prayer point to get me off the gram, to stop shopping on the gram. Because I was like, how is this going to happen? But you see, if you don't try it,
you won't know.
It's never going to work for you. Why would I go queue in a supermarket if I can get on an app, order my groceries, and they come to where I am? Why? So if you're in that business or any kind of business today, and you're not moving with technology, you're going to be left behind. What came after letting go?
Wow. After letting go, we had executed vision in the marketplace. That was 2016. And it was about executing our vision. So what is your vision, and how do you then begin to walk out and step out towards your vision?
And for me, having a vision is so important, Dorcas. So I don't think we're even going to get into the conversation that we wanted to about what happened after this unstacking conversation that we had this year. But vision is important. You see, even the Bible says, without a vision, the people perish. It says, write the vision down so that those who see it may run with it, and it will not tarry. So the place of vision is so, so important. I think another learning now from executed vision, it gives us permission to do. Because if you see somebody has done something, then you should also go and do. If somebody has overcome crazy obstacles, then even you should be able to overcome crazy obstacles. So I don't know, that's what spoke to me. How did that speak to you?
And I think for me it was the steps, because we always have these dreams in our hearts and in our minds, but then where do we start? And I think for me that beginning to have a conversation around, this is where you start when it comes to your vision. These are the things you need to do. Stepping out when it comes to vision is critical.
So they're telling me we're out of time, but I want us to continue with maybe we'll do one each. What's the next one, so that Sheila can take us through that one?
Okay, so the next one after that one was leadership that shifts mindsets and culture.
And that one was huge. Only 400 of us. What were we for? Were 100 of us.
We're 100
in a room.
I
always feel like it was the upper room. Leadership that shifts mindsets and culture.
Okay, that one, I wasn't part of it, but what I get from it and what I've seen from other leaders who were in that room, in that space at that time, is that it birthed a lot of programs.
And movement. People moved.
A lot. And I have benefited from some of those programs that were birthed from that space. And it's linked to the previous conference theme of vision, because a program like what Mary Mondier is doing on reimagining vision was birthed. The ideas and the ideation came from that time. And if you look at what it has done, the clarity that it has given me. I didn't even know how to do a vision board. Let me just start from there. I've never seen a leader who is a leader but has no vision board.
That's good, because we sometimes pretend we can do everything, but we don't know how to do it.
But we don't know how to do. So it is in this space and through these nuggets that we get and listening to those inspirational, amazing conversations that happen. And then you start seeing the fruits and the products of that conversation. Then we, the beneficiaries, become better in our marketplace assignments. And then, you get, I've never known that a vision board can be both simple and complicated at the same time. But the clarity of it, I think, is what make more sense and was my takeout from that conversation that we had.
And I remember we wore white for that one. That was when we were still having in-person events. There was no technology anywhere on the horizon. The events were in person.
In person. It was powerful.
You can speak to the next one, Dorcas.
The next one was redefining success in the marketplace.
Wow.
I loved that one. I loved that one. I loved that one.
Wow. Speak. Because redefining success in the marketplace. That one I feel like it just threw a spanner in the works for us.
And it's actually happening today because we are seeing a lot of redefining success. Because what was successful before, you remember it actually birthed the conversation of access. Because we were saying what was deemed as successful before is not the same, level of, like how people looked at success before is not the same as how they look at it now. Before it was more about, ownership, owning physical things, owning real estate, owning buildings, owning all these things. It actually birthed the access conversation because now we are saying that success is freedom. People are working towards freedom,
more liberation,
more liberty, more ability to have more of your time, to be more creative. And I remember that that discussion of success, there's a way that you've been told this is how your life should go. You finish school, you get a job, get married, have 2 babies, 1 cat, 1 dog, 2 cars. There's just this whole thing of this is now what success is. But then now we are seeing different, people are embracing different kinds of, living, different ways of living. Because of online working, people have different lifestyles. People have different aspirations. They're no longer the same, So it's amazing that we are actually seeing this rolling out.
Imagine now
as we're
redefining success. Because the next conversation was access.
The next one
we've had 3 access conversations.
Yes, because the next one was, the next one after that was bold for impact, equipped for transformation.
Wow.
And then we moved to access for extraordinary impact.
And we've had the access for extraordinary impact. And what other access have we had?
Moving from potential to performance, accessing the real you.
Wow.
And then accessing and preparing for the future.
And I love where Joanne, thank God to Joanne Kiambati, she's the one who brought in the access conversation. She had that download and we took it and we ran with it. So after redefining success, we needed to become bold. Because that's what you need to do. When you have redefined the what success means, then you have to be bold, because you have to be bold for impact. We have to make impact and we have to be bold about it. You cannot do it without being bold, without strength and courage. So maybe now that we've come to access, there were 3 access conversations. I'll just let you weigh in as a parting shot as to what this Unstuck annual conference means, or leading up to it, or whatever just drops in your spirit.
I go first?
Yes.
Wow, Unstuck. So for me, Unstuck is, because it's a leadership conference, and we talk about the things that keep leaders bound, the habits, the mindsets, the culture that comes from lifestyle, that needs to change for us to be able to fully live out who we are. And so when you talk about being unstuck, is addressing those areas that we know as leaders, we struggle in, and we know this is where we need to go, but then this is where we are. How do we bridge this gap? And so we are addressing those things that would stop you from being able to be fully who you are. And in that process, then we address holistically what are some of these things, and we've seen the themes, and it's a process. Getting unstuck is a process. It's a step by step.
Even our logo, because our logo is like peeling back, it's like you don't just rip off the band-aid. You've got to peel it off slowly, until it's peeled off.
And it's like we run, because we hold it annually, and once we have a theme, we run for a year with that theme, you digest it, you process it, you discuss it, you own it, you pray into it until the next one. So it keeps on building, and here we are talking about access in the future. And so for me, it's even inward looking. What are those things for me as a leader I need to address that keep me stuck in some ways from moving into who I really know? Because we all know. There's one thing you like to say. You say, if you held a gun to everyone at a wall and asked them what their purpose is, everyone will tell you what their purpose is.
You tell them they can only live if they tell you their purpose. Everyone will articulate something without fail. So
we know what it is. And to that, we also know the areas that we struggle in. We actually do know. And so it's being honest, being realistic, being truthful, being practical. What are these things that I need to address so that I can move forward?
Sheila?
I love what you're saying. And I think what access also requires is authenticity.
Yeah.
It does.
It requires these same leaders to own to everything you have just shared. And then now being vulnerable. I think what access requires is vulnerability. To say, I do not know, show me the way.
Yeah.
And what this conference does is it brings leaders who are established, who have faulted. They are not without fault. They have failed, but they stand up and say, learn from me. This is the way I went. These were my pitfalls. This is how I rose and I moved forward. So for me, access means being vulnerable, being authentic enough to say, I do not know. And as a leader, I think it's very important that as a leader in the marketplace, you should be vulnerable, be authentic, because that is the only way to lead. And we have seen it from you as our leader, because there are things you have shared with us and you tell us, okay, I have an idea, I know, but I don't know. Let's see how this should go. So it's in that point of vulnerability that you grow us in our own spaces to then think outside the box, remove all the constraints that we see are limiting us, and then being able to move into the next. And just being able to lean on others and get mentored. I think access is a huge door. I think it's a verb, it's a noun, it's an adjective, it's a living phrase. Access is a living phrase, and you're a perfect example of what access is, because you give us access to a lot of things. You give us access to platforms, you give us access to networks. And as leaders, that is what we need. That is what we need that will get us into the next. And that's what equips us to be the better leaders that we need to be.
That's amazing. Well done. Thank you for saying that. Of course, I never see myself as that. And I say, it's a good thing, because if you focus on what you have done, then you'll never get anything done. But as you both spoke, I thought of a door. Sometimes access is being able to enter something, isn't it? So I've just had a vision of a door. So you have a door. So first you have to decide you're going to open the door. There are many times I've prayed for people and they have refused to move. They have sat here and said, what's happening over there? They're all going. So first it's moving towards the door, because it's an action. It's an action. Then opening the door, but then being able to go through the door. And that's where the authenticity and the vulnerability comes, because you don't know what's coming through that door.
Yes.
Yeah. Many times we're so sure of everything around us. We're in a comfort zone of how we know how everything works here. But the Lord is saying, go through that door. You don't know how everything works through there. You'll have to have authentic experiences and allow yourself to experience, allow yourself to enjoy, allow yourself to see what's new and what's out there. And then I always see the second picture I see is like if you have a path of stones, cobbled stones I see, and sort of like there's water around them. Many people, you can't just step on the stone. You start testing it. You start pressing the stone. Is it going to hold me? Is this next step? Is this next step going to be able to carry me and then begin me on a journey of walking through that? But Absolutely. It will. You have to trust the process.
It's the trust.
That's the authenticity and the vulnerability. And if you fall into the water,
it's okay.
It's okay. Get up. Move. And keep moving. Now you'll be wet, but we're moving. But the problem is also not just even allowing ourselves. Yeah. So even as you spoke about access and even me giving people access, I felt also in my spirit, even access to yourself. Some of us don't even want access to us. We've lived this facade for so long. It's become almost real, and we all know it's not real. So I feel like even access to yourself, what's possible, access to the possibilities of your life, of your vision, of your purpose, of your family. You know, a lot of people, even within the pandemic, moved. Yeah, off they were there. I was thinking, maybe I should move. Go, you can go anywhere, be anyone, do anything.
Yeah.
Express yourself. We're in such a beautiful season. So my prayer to you, join us on August 6th for the annual Unstuck Conference on accessing the future, equipped for impact. And you can't give up. Whatever you do, don't give up. Come and watch, come and listen. And go back and watch the other videos that we've had out there, because that's another thing. Like, things unlock, like leadership that shifts mindsets and culture. As you're listening, something is unlocking in you. You're getting direction. You're getting step 1, 2, 3, and you begin to move. And that way we're not stuck. God bless you. I'm really looking forward to seeing you on the 6th of August. Look out for the details and register. And we'll see you on Saturday, the 6th of August. God bless. Bye-bye.